All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the third episode of season 2. We've started this season off strong, and it's just continuing to get stronger. Today, we have on a bodybuilder, a first bodybuilder we've had on not just season 2, but the entire podcast itself. So today we have on Tulare County's. We believe, and we could be wrong, so someone tell us if we're wrong, but we believe still to this day, Tulare County's only IFBB Classic Physique professional bodybuilder, Rudy Ramirez. We're so excited to have him on today, and we're going to really dive in deep and get into this podcast today. So, Rudy, welcome. Pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me. They're literally and figuratively getting stronger.
No.
So,
literally.
So Rudy, before we get it going, we like to do a mental minute. So with the mental minute, we just fire some rapid questions at you, get the juices flowing, get it going. So the first question that we got is, who is your biggest inspiration to get into bodybuilding?
Okay, well, this all started back when I was a kid, man. Watching a movie, the old Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah.
Pumping iron, baby.
Yeah, Pumping Iron. But the first movie I saw him was Predator.
Ooh, Predator. Okay.
Predator was the first time I ever saw this guy, and I was like, what the hell is this? Who is this guy? You know, being a kid, you're like, oh, man. I want to look like that dude, man.
Yeah.
Superhero, like action figure, right?
Yeah.
The other day, I was what kind of popped up in my head about this question was I was listening to a podcast with C-Bum, which C-Bum's everyone's looking at him right now. He's biggest bodybuilder in the world. But someone had asked him, "What's your favorite lifts?" And also your least favorite lifts. So, Rudy, you've been doing this a long time. So, what's your 2 or 3 favorite lifts, and your 2 or 3 that you do, but they're not your favorite?
Well, my favorite lifts have become mostly back exercises. Going into competing, chest wasn't really much of a hassle for me. I grew my chest. It became easy. So, I liked it, but I liked the challenge. Mm-hmm. And when I got critiques from judges that my back needed to come up, it was, rows. Every kind of sort of row. Try to really put some meat on that back, some thickness. The other lift definitely be squats. Ooh. Just because I suck at them.
Yeah.
And they are honestly the biggest ass kickers, man.
Death.
Oh yeah.
But they can be dangerous. So you got to ride that fine line, man. And other one will have to be, tricep press downs, man. Very dominant on the tricep, But again, it comes easy. So those would probably be my 3 favorite.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. If you could only have 3 lifts, and that's all you could do, 3 lifts, what would they be?
Ooh.
If you only got to hit 3 lifts forever, what would they be?
Damn.
Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit.
Well, I think pull-ups.
Yeah.
Pull-ups are probably one of the most, not even really
overhand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do
other
ones.
No.
I don't kip, man.
Yeah. It's only one way.
Yeah. But pull-ups, man, they're overlooked a lot, but pull-ups are huge.
Yeah.
Squats, because they build overall. And, I would have to go with the chest press.
Oof. Dumbbell, barbell, machine, what?
Barbell. Dumbbell. I prefer dumbbell.
There's a big difference, right? There's a huge difference.
Huge difference.
Okay.
I'm done. I'm over my bro years, man.
Yeah.
I ain't messing with a lot of barbell pressing no more. It tears up the shoulders a lot. And I prefer the control of having the dumbbells, the contraction you're able to attain from the dumbbells.
And you could get the right angle on it.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Because tension's everything as a bodybuilder, right?
Exactly.
You're not just moving weight. You're trying to feel the weight.
Exactly.
Sure. Right. Exactly.
Trying to move and contract.
Right. That's, what would yours be?
I'm going to go definitely pull-ups, right? Pull-ups, pull-up squat, and... Ooh, man. Pull-up squat and maybe... Yeah, I'm probably gonna go the same. Definitely pull ups, right?
Yeah,
pull ups.
Yeah,
definitely a squat.
Yeah.
Because you could hit leg, you're gonna hit some other things like that, and then so I'm either gonna go chest press or maybe like, oh man, yeah, I'm probably gonna go the same.
See, I'm a deadlift guy. I'll pass on the squats. I'm good with squats, man. I'll pick up the bar, man. That's my bread and
That would probably
butter.
be my next one, a deadlift, because you're gonna hit back, you're gonna hit, obviously hamstrings, legs, different things.
Speaking about squats, okay, let's talk about. I want to ask the next question. What do you think is one of the bigger myths in bodybuilding?
Biggest myth in bodybuilding, going super heavy.
Going super heavy. Okay.
You know, I see all these youngsters just trying to bench and squat a ton of weight, and honestly, once you're up on stage, the judges ain't asking you how much you bench, how much you squat.
Yep.
Yeah.
None of that crap matters, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's what you present on stage, how it looks, you know, the muscle, you know, fibers that have been built, you know, and yeah, you can stimulate some with the heavy loads, but you know, you got to get that hypertrophy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Rudy, I mean, you've done this for a long time. You own a gym yourself. What did you always, like, you first started lifting, what did you enjoy most about bodybuilding, and like what like just really got you to fall in love with it and want to compete?
Well, for me, it was just, you know, I'm not a big guy. I'm not a tall dude, you know. So being bullied when I was a kid, you know, obviously forced me to find a different avenue of gaining strength, you know. So that's what kind of led me to working out, you know, hitting the weights, you know. Once you're strong, man, ain't nobody messing with you, you know. From there, you know, it's just the challenge of the bodybuilding. Because honestly, man, I never thought myself I would ever be doing that. I was told when I was in college you should compete. But honestly, I myself was like, nah, I'm good. Nah, that's not for me.
You do have an athletic background, though, right?
I do, yeah.
Right.
Played football and stuff in high school.
Yeah,
And what other sports you play in high school?
I dabbled with basketball, but lifting kind of screwed that up because I would lift before practice. So shooting basketballs after that, nah, man, that ball would fly. I would be hitting bricks, man. It was not cool, man. And, you know, coaches made us do track.
Sure.
You know, but I wasn't running no 4.2, 4.3. So, and I wasn't a long distance runner. So,
Yeah.
You know, pleasing the coaches, we did the track.
Yeah. Did what you had to do.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So the part about bodybuilding, though, like what, to be more specific, though, what about it though brought joy to you though? Was it the fact that basically bodybuilding is you versus you?
Yeah, it is.
Right.
For me, it's just the total control you have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in life, there's so many things that come at you that you have no control over. But in the gym, you dictate that.
Right.
You control what you do, your effort, you know, how much you put into it.
Right.
Because, I mean, I tell all my clients, you know, results are, you know, a product of your effort, you know, and that's honestly what bodybuilding is, you know, effort in the lifts, the training, the dieting, how you know, go about your recovery, you know, it all matters, you know, and just the challenge of that. And honestly, the one thing, it's my peace, you know, with all the craziness going out, nothing matters when I'm in that time.
Right.
You know, that's what I call my magic hour,
Mm-hmm.
where everything goes away.
Right.
And it's just me, the weights, and
It's therapy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think a lot of us, like, we first pick up our weight with, like, for me, it was playing football. I think getting in the weight room, like 14 years old. I'm not sure. When was the first time you picked up a weight, Zach?
It was high school. My older brother got me into weightlifting. And
Adrian?
Yeah. Greg Plitt. Greg Plitt was my dude back then until he got ran over, and different story. Different story but yeah, high school. It was my junior year.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, everyone has their different kind of, you know, outlets and then way into, you know, picking up their first weight. So when was the first time you picked up your first weight and like were introduced to lifting, just kind of the basics of it and kind of the foundation of lifting?
That was summer going into freshman year of football, high school.
Yeah.
Before that, I wasn't very well off too kid. I mean, my parents did what the best they could, but we didn't have any weights at home. So once I got into playing football, we had to go to weight training. But having just done a bunch of calisthenic work when I was a kid, it came easy. And it's something that honestly I really enjoyed. From there on, I remember my brother buying me a weight set for the outside of my house, and
Rest was history.
that's just history, man.
Yeah.
I just tried to do all my homework at school so I could come home and lift.
Yep.
That was my love, my first love, man.
That's the coolest thing. I think when you get introduced to just sports in general, not for everyone, but I know for a lot of us, it's for both you and myself, Zach, we began in high school lifting weights and picked up our first weight. And for a lot of us, it was, freshman football or basketball or volleyball or a coach, right? And it necessarily wasn't super in depth, but we were introduced to it. And for a lot of us, it just doesn't ever leave us. And we build a lifelong habit of going to the gym and things like that. So it's one of the best things we could do is go play sports, because you're going to get introduced to not just that sport, but hopefully lifting and getting in the gym and picking up weights and things that are going to be lifelong habits for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So to continue to go though, to fast forward it, right? You're in high school, you found the weight set, you found the weight room, you found some people to enjoy that with you. Start going into the beginning of your bodybuilding career, after the people are trying to convince you and tell you, dude, you got this, man, give it a go. So tell us where and when that journey started to be all right, I'm going to listen to these people maybe, and I'm going to start taking this off.
It's a funny story. Well, it all started back in 2012. I remember going to the Olympia, and it was, I believe, the first year men's physique was introduced.
Yeah.
And I went with a buddy, and guys talking shit.
Yeah.
Getting at each other. And we placed a little wager to see who could look better. And the only way we would decide the winner was step on stage, and whoever placed first or placed better.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, we make a bet, I'm gonna go through with it, man. So I went through with it and ended up doing my first show in March of 2013. I did the Jay Cutler Desert Classic, and that was probably the tipping point of just setting everything off, because the experience I had, it was crazy, man.
Yeah, it triggered it. Boom.
I fell in love with it, because before, everybody wants to find their identity, they want to find themselves. And having done that show, I felt like, really, all right, this is for you. You can do this. Go for it. And the results of that show, then after running into Jay Cutler, Mr. Olympia himself, in the elevator, and him, giving some words, it was like, oh shit.
What were do you remember some of the words he,
words of wisdom
what
were
he
they?
gave you?
Nah, it was more like, I had you winning. I had you winning the whole show.
Wow.
And I was like, oh shoot, dude, this is my first show. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah.
That had to give you confidence.
Oh yeah, it boosted my confidence from there on, and that just really kind of like, okay, man, if Mr. Olympia, thinks that, let's see what we can do with this,
Damn, imagine the confidence from that.
They whatchamacallit, so the light, shoot, go ahead, pick it up.
No, so you get done with that first competition, and so when you get back home, what's kind of the feeling like? What's the mindset like? You obviously are gonna have a bunch of confidence coming off of that. So was it just like, okay, let's get back in the gym, obviously, and let's get to the next one?
Yeah, that was exactly what the mindset was. It was like,
set everything in motion, huh?
Yeah, I was like, all right, we got second at this show.
Right.
Yeah,
we got second at the first show. Let's go see what we can do now.
Okay.
Let's put the foot on the pedal.
And so when you do get back, to the drawing board, what were the changes that you knew you had to make to get to the next level and to win the thing?
I believe it was probably more presentation. You know, it's just, I mean, you can have the best physique, but if you don't know how to present it up there on stage, it really knocks you, man. And the fact that it was my first show, I was nervous as hell, man.
Right.
I mean, being up there in Speedo, half naked, you know,
Yeah.
in a theater full of people that you've never done this before, it's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
You know, it really hits you once they call your name to go up on stage, you know. And, you know, I just remember forgetting everything. And I was like, oh, crap. Here we go.
Like your routine and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, posing's difficult, man. It's not just go up there and, you know, flex as hard as you can.
Yeah.
You do that, you're going to pass out. But the thing is so it's like you go, everything's starting to be set in motion, right? You know you got some like, all right, I got a chance in this. I'm gonna take as far as I could go. Once you get to that point, right? How difficult, you know, because you got hit in the chin quite a few times, you know, during that road, right?
Oh yeah.
And you're already in a sport where remember it's you versus you, right? So, you know, what advice would you give to these young guys and young women that are aspiring to be, you know, bodybuilders and competitive bodybuilders, right? Because it's one thing this is how I put it whenever I go and I get people that say they want to be bodybuilders. I don't really get a whole lot of them anymore. But I always ask them, all right, do you want a participation trophy or do you want to compete? Because there's a significant difference in who you're going to be and who you're going to be going against. What advice would you give those people?
Well,
that are about to start that
journey? That's honestly
journey?
The same thing I tell them. No, you want to do it for fun or you want to win. You know, it's only two roads, you know, and you weed out a lot of people that way because people just see the social media, the glitz and glamour, but no, man, it's really tough. You know, I would say you really, really have to love and have a passion for this stuff because there's a lot more dark days than there are bright days.
Right.
And like he said, man, I had to eat a lot of humble pie on my road, you know, to becoming a pro. There was ups, but there was a lot of downs. There's a lot of doubt. That's honestly the biggest one. People tend to start doubting themselves, you know. And you also got to build thick skin, man. You got to build thick skin because you're subjecting yourself to be critiqued. And you got to be able to take those critiques and build off of them. You know, some people get critiqued and they fall apart.
Right.
They're weak-minded and, you know, start getting down on themselves and they quit. You know, the others, you know, take that critique and go to work.
Yeah.
I got to build it. Whatever it, you know, may be that they say you need more, legs, back, chest, whatever. You know, you just got to, you know, make the plan and execute. It's all in execution.
Right. Yeah, because bodybuilding is never ending, man.
No.
I mean, even when you win a show, there's still something.
Yep. It's an endless pursuit of perfection.
Exactly.
Yeah, never satisfied. You can't be, right?
No.
So you're going to the different, you know, competitions and getting ready, training. What's that like training routine? What did it look like for you in your prep leading up to a competition, both the diet and your lifting routines as well? Let's just say like, you know, maybe 6 weeks out or so. Like what do those last like 6 weeks leading up to your competition, your prep look like?
Not very different, man. Not very different. The one thing that I've learned with this is, you know, you got to keep training the way you train, you know, and you got to have trust. One, in your coach, you know, your trainer, if you have one, that, you know, you're doing the work that you need to do. You know, all dots, all I's should be dotted, T's should be crossed within those weeks, you know, because you don't want to come to a week or 2 weeks out and start trying to do some crazy manipulations of different things, trying to push other things, you know. The work is done 14 weeks out, 18 weeks out.
Right.
And how you go into the prep. By 6 weeks out, you should be, you know, cruising.
Dialed in.
Yeah. Dialing it in, getting ready to, you know, really pretty much more work on the posing, working on presentation, making sure that's tuned up so that way when you're up on stage, you don't have a hiccup. You know, you want to make sure the muscle memory is there. Because again, I tell my competitors, once they call your name, butterflies, all that nerves is gonna hit you.
Mm-hmm.
And if the muscle memory of posing and the way you present yourself isn't there,
Yep.
it's gonna get rough.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, because not very many people show up to their first show shredded, like ready. You know what I mean? It's just basically an introduction. Like, okay, you got a taste of the lights. You got a tan in a place where you never thought you'd get tan before. But they not to disrespect them, but they put in the work and they put in the hours and they put in the training and stuff like that. But very, very few people come in like fully loaded, ready to take over a first show.
Mm-hmm.
So though to those type of people, right? And usually they're younger, they're younger cats out there that just want to get into the field of bodybuilding. When you get, because you're a coach, you coach people, you coach the competitors now, right? Because you no longer compete yourself.
Not right now, not
right.
currently.
So you're passing on the wisdom and the knowledge and the experience onto the younger dudes now, and girls, right? So when you kind of know more or less, all right, somebody walks through your door, and then oh man, we quite aren't there yet. You know what I mean? But they still want to go through with it. What is it that you tell them now? Okay, this is what we're trying to execute then. This is what we're going to go and try to get done at this show. You know what I mean? How do you help them through that type of process?
Well, I mean, everybody wants to, has that dream of hitting the first show and hitting the home run.
Right.
But nobody hits a home run in the first at bat, So it's honestly getting your feet wet.
Yep.
Making sure that, again, we're going to try to do our best to prep you there. Now it's just getting on that stage. Right. Just stepping on stage it's a huge accomplishment because a lot of people fall off. Right. I've had people that have wanted to do it, but they fall off because it's tough, especially leading to these last couple of weeks. It's more mentally draining than anything.
Right.
The body will do it, but it's in here, the way you start feeling about yourself.
Right.
You start having doubts of, am I ready?
Right.
I'm not ready.
Right.
Okay, I don't look good today. I look great today. And you're just back and forth in your own head. And, that's sometimes the biggest killer of all is doubt,
Stress, yeah.
It is. And it becomes quite stressful, and that's why, with my guys, I just try to minimize the amount of stress that they have, and just, be their little, conscious on their shoulder telling them, hey, you got this.
Yeah.
We got this. We're doing great. You're right on track. If they're not on track, I'll let them know. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, we got to pull it. Let's push it. Push the show.
Right. I mean, because in bodybuilding, there's no winning and losing. There's only winning and learning.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
because
you have to see it.
Every single show is a new experience, a new body, a new mindset, new everything, right?
Yeah, not every prep's the same either.
Yeah.
You can't diet the same. You can't expect to get the same result, doing the same shit. That's the definition of insanity, right?
Right, exactly.
So
there's always challenges and different obstacles that come up, and different preps and different preparing for different shows as well.
Yeah, I mean, we are not even talking about the outside factors that you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The
Jobs and girlfriends and boyfriends and this and that type of stuff, because that's all factored in, man.
Yeah,
it's all factored in.
There's so many things. Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, so going back to you, back to your career. I mean, leading up to getting your pro card, that obviously became a goal of yours and, something you wanted to accomplish. So what was it like leading up to that show? And what was that kind of feeling like when you were able to, earn your pro card and now, be basically you were the only one, I believe still the only one in Tulare County to have your classic physique pro card. What was that whole lead up and what was that feeling like of, earning that?
Well, I mean, you do it for the ones that want to see you win. And with me, I had, quite a people on my corner. I had Zach in my corner at the time. I had, some of my clients that were just there seeing me every day that would come in and work with me and just see me. I had, my wife, she was there behind, supporting me. Then I had my baby boy, he was a baby. Just looking at them every morning when I had to get up at 3:30 in the morning, go do my cardio, And that's what I tell them, my guys, you do it for the ones that want to see you win. Forget all the negativity, all the naysayers. Let them talk. You do the work, And for myself, it was just, getting up and doing it. There's no other way to do it. Just do it.
Right.
You know, no matter how you feel, you're going to feel like crap. You're going to be tired. You're going to be hungry. You know, just do it. You know, because you're never going to know your full potential unless you actually try. And you fight. And you fight to get through it every freaking day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, man. And for myself, going into that, I suffered. I suffered a lot. You know, honestly, I felt like I was dying every day. Like from the diet, from the cardio, you know, the trainings were sometimes brutal, you know. It was rough, you know, but you know, getting that nod at the end, it made it all worth it.
Yep.
You know, I went in there with the feeling of whatever happens, I did everything I possibly could. I burned every calorie of cardio I could. I didn't eat anything, hardly. You know, I stuck to my diet 100. You know, and the training, I gave it all my effort. Posing, everything was, all my T's were crossed. And at that point, it was just, hey, at this point, I'm going to let the cards fall where they fall.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, let's see what happens. Let's see what's up.
And this was in Vegas, right?
Vegas.
This is he did the pro. I mean, so tell people how that kind of is. You know, there's 5 shows throughout the calendar year that is it still 5?
I think so.
Right.
I think so.
And you correct me if I'm wrong, but did you try a qualificate or to get your pro card in Florida? Was that?
Yeah. I tried twice.
Yeah. So people, he failed more than once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He failed more than once.
Oh yeah.
But he came to Vegas.
Yeah. My first try was in 2013. I got a little big headed after winning my first show.
Yeah.
You know, you get, you know, big headed. You want to go give it a shot. So I ended up going to nationals out in, it was in Fort Lauderdale in Florida that year. And that was probably, I got served the biggest piece of pie that day, you know, humble pie. Just being backstage with all these incredible physiques, man. You really get your eyes open to what you really need to bring to these types of shows. You know, these regional shows, man, they're nothing compared to national shows. You're going up against anywhere between 30 to 40 dudes or girls that are just as high caliber as you, that have won or multiple overall regional shows, you know, and you really get to see the quality of the work that these people have put in. And, you know, being back there, I was like, damn, what the hell am I doing here? I'm not supposed to be here right now. I got a ways to go, you know? And so that was more encouraging to me to, all right, let's work. Let's put the work in and see what we can do. You know, and I revisited Florida in 2015, you know, 2 years later, feeling confident, you know, got hooked up with a new coach. Zach at the time was handling my training, you know, when we were going in, you know, going for it, you know, but at the same time, I mean, you never know who shows up to these shows. Mm-hmm. You know, we ended up going up against this guy that had placed second at the USA's that year. Big dude. Having talked to him backstage, the strategy he told me was he was supposed to be a light heavyweight. He was supposed to be a light heavyweight.
He's a whole lot of muscle.
Damn.
And this guy, he suffered. And he pushed himself to suffer and make the middleweight class. And once he filled it out, man.
Lights out.
Wow.
He smoked us. You know, he smoked all of us, you know. And I was fortunate to place 6th that year at that national show, which was much improved from the first time, you know, but having talked to him and getting that feedback, you know, I came back home and hit up the coach and was like, hey, this is what we got to do.
Yeah.
You know, we got to get there. We got to condition. You know, conditioning wins, man.
Exactly.
Conditioning wins. And I looked at my condition at that national show compared to that dude's, we had a lot of room for improvement. And so from then on, it was just, hey, it's on. Let's go. USA's, baby. That was all on my mind. USA's. 2016, USA's.
So when you were over there, you know, and you're in those rooms full of those people that are just, you know, opening up your eyes and stuff like that, and you're thinking to yourself, man, I'm not supposed to be here. Why though? What part of your body made you feel that way? Was it your biceps? Like, tell people what it was that made you have that thought.
It was condition, man.
It was just conditioning.
It was conditioning. I really got to see the next level of conditioning that these guys attain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's different when you think you're walking around, you're big, and you know,
right,
you're feeling good, but then you see this guy that's completely peeled, and you're like, "What the hell is that thing? That thing is a freaking anatomy chart."
Yep.
You know, so that was the main thing. The way they carry themselves. You know, one of my coaches was like, "Hey, you carry yourself like a pro. You want to be pro? Carry yourself like a pro." You know, and that's what you got to do. You know, not BSing with your diet off season, not taking the off season and having a bunch of junk shit. You know, at that
it's
point,
a lifestyle.
It is. It is a lifestyle. It's either you're gonna do it or not.
Right. So, you know, when you're saying that, it's like you tell people exactly how hard it is to peak for a show. Because you talk about conditioning, you talked about being shredded, because, I mean, it matters. Tell people exactly how difficult that process is.
Oh, man, that takes a couple of shows to really nail down. You know, I had a few shows under my belt, quite a few shows under my belt, trying to find different strategies to try to fill out. You know, because again, you know, you got to really be in tune with what you're eating, how well you follow your diet plans that your coach puts you on. You know, and trying to see what really works for your body. Because like I said, no, not every prep's the same. No, you put on more muscle tissue. No, you can't expect the same result with doing the same thing. So you got to figure out what works best for you, what foods work best for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, throughout that prep, I found potato don't work for me. You know, it bloats gut. No, my gut would get all bloated. You know, some guys, you know, carb up and load up with pancakes and stuff like that, junk meals.
Yeah.
You know, sugary stuff didn't
work
sit well for me, man. You know, and like once we got to the USA's, you know, when I won my pro card, you know, we tried to stick to the diet foods that we were doing for the first day. But, you know, I'm pretty sure Zach remembers we were just having the food, but my body was just sucking it up.
What was it? It wasn't oatmeal. It was
Just rice.
Wasn't there cream of wheat? There you go. Yeah,
and it wasn't doing nothing. You know, my body was just kind of like, and it would just,
right,
and it would flatten back out. You know, but luckily for me, I had almost about 2 days from having to step on stage. You know, we made weight. I believe it was a Thursday afternoon. I wasn't scheduled to step on stage till Saturday morning, so it gave us a good time to try to fill back out.
Right.
And for myself, it was, you know, my conditioning was always great. Mm-hmm. You know, I always push my conditioning because, again, conditioning wins. That's what we were told.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so you try to push that conditioning with the cardio, you know, the dieting. And fortunately for myself, you know, I was really well conditioned. And so we were able to kind of have a little bit of a gamble, you know, and the coach saw that, you know, our regular diet foods weren't working. So he gave me some junk meals, you know, burger and fries. You know, I needed that sodium. I needed those fats from those types of food.
Right.
Along with the carbs and stuff like that to really help.
Replenish your muscles, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember waking up Saturday morning. Whew, it was freaky.
Yeah.
It was freaky, man.
Because I remember nutrition not really being a hard thing for, I mean, don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? It's a challenge, you know, birthday parties and this and that. But to me, that was never the issue for you. You know what I mean? Nah. The meals was never the hard part for you personally speaking. You know what I mean? To me, it was just time.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be careless about that because like you said, you got humble pie more than once. Mm-hmm. And that time could come back and bite you in the ass, you know, and take you out of the race.
Yeah.
To me, the most challenging thing was being patient. That was it.
Yeah.
So the nutrition is not easy for most, right? Mm-mm. You know, eating the same thing, period, just time after time after time after time. The cardio, yeah, I mean, that's never fun. You know what I mean? But you never had an issue, you know, putting your ass up there for an hour, sometimes twice a day with training and so on and so forth. I won't say training was too difficult for you, but I mean, it wasn't easy either.
No.
You know what I mean? So it was just it was a lot of sacrifice.
It was.
But I think the biggest takeaway of what I'm trying to say is for these people that are listening is just, gosh damn, be patient.
Yeah.
Just be patient. Stop trying to rush shit.
That's the main thing. You gotta enjoy the stuff you're going through, man. Like I tell my youngsters, man, I was fortunate to go pro in 3 years.
Ooh,
Quick.
Wow. Not a lot of people accomplish that.
But you had a long resume of lifting though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're not
yeah.
like people that just get out of high school and just want to pick up a weight and say, oh, I want to be a bodybuilder. No.
No,
You
yeah.
crafted your physique for years.
Yeah, I was 27, going to be 27, I believe, when I was first stepped on stage. So I had some mature muscle on me. Overall, I believe, was a little bit more chore in the head. Not trying to do what some of these youngsters do. And like you said, rush it. And honestly, I just feel that a lot of the times now, these youngsters try to rush it.
Right.
Try to rush it, and with bodybuilding, it is what it is, man.
You ain't gonna rush bodybuilding, I'll tell you that right now. That's how you get hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess kind of piggybacking off that, what do you believe are some of the biggest mistakes that some of these young bodybuilders are making, or these people that want to get into bodybuilding? Like, what are the biggest mistakes they're making getting into it when they're first starting out?
Well, that goes into the dark side, man, of the bodybuilding.
Yeah. We could go there.
And that is dabbling with stuff. And sometimes these youngsters don't know what the hell they're doing. Dabbling with certain performance enhancers, that, it's bodybuilding, especially at this, they're a given. You're going to be using them, especially if you want to reach the top levels.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That's why you got to make the choice. Either do it for fun or you do it to win. And if you do it for winning, I'm sorry, but there's going to come a time where you're going to have to make that choice.
But that doesn't mean do it carelessly.
No.
Right?
No. And honestly, I believe that's the biggest mistake. A lot of these cats don't try to, reach a plateau naturally.
Right.
Of what they could do, and what they could build naturally before they start dabbling with things that, sometimes they're not even educated about.
Right.
Or sometimes they're just trusting, some gym bro, that isn't really educated.
Qualified. Yeah.
Or qualified to giving those types of advices.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Well, to go back to what he just said, it's like, you could speed up the process with enhancements.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, for crying out, I gained 60 pounds in 6 months, for crying out loud. Like, you could do it, and it will do that for you. But you can't speed up maturity.
No, you can't.
You can't. That's built through experience.
Yep.
Period.
Time.
And that's the one thing that steroids don't do for you.
No.
So, again, I mean, shoot, we're hearing about dudes TKO before they're even 40 because they are pushing things that might, I mean, I won't say it's necessary because I don't know their backstory.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know what they're trying to accomplish or what they're trying to do or who they're listening to. But I can't figure out a legitimate reason for these individuals to just be like, I mean, we're talking some high profile names.
Yeah.
Just passing away before they turn 40.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where it's like you go and you talk about a lot of it. How would I put this? It's just stress management. You got to be able to learn stress manage it before you do anything bodybuilding related. You know what I mean? Because if you can't control stress,
it's gonna eat you up.
You're done.
Yeah.
You will never peak. You will never reach that full potential. You just won't. So to me, that right there, that's the conversation that needs to happen before anything else gets set in motion.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your stress, man. Where are you sitting at right now? Let's talk about that before we talk about rep sets and what we're doing as far as bodybuilding splits.
No, well, like I said, stress is the killer of all, man. And, bodybuilding is a very selfish sport. It's very demanding, and when you have a lot of responsibilities, like for myself now, I have my gym and I have a family, I have kids, I don't want to just be a parent there. I want to be interactive with my kids. I want to be, conscious of the things that, with them and be interactive with them. Because otherwise, I mean, you become a zombie,
Yeah.
and that's not fun. I was at a zombie point once, and I look back and I'm like, man, I regret it. There's times where I missed certain milestones, with my son, enjoying certain wins and, birthdays and, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I was so, stressed. Oh, I want to go pro. I got to get this cardio done. I got to get this training done. Got to go get this meal in, Now it's just, I'm trying to just level it out. Trying to be there for my kids, Got my wife, she's in school right now. So I got to pick up the slack with the kids,
Right.
Doing that.
A more balanced lifestyle.
More balance. And, sometimes, you don't have enough time in the day. You don't have enough hours in the day, to do everything that you want, and yourself being a business owner, a lot of the stuff falls on you. You got to take care of it. You got to get it done. A lot of people rely on you.
Right. Yeah. I think what, because I mean, you just like you said, you're a business owner as well. You own your own gym and things like that, and people always ask me, it's like, Zach, what's the worst part about your job? Well, it depends on which one you're talking about, because I'm a trainer and an owner. Mm-hmm. I hate being an owner. I love what it brings. I love the opportunities that it creates, but the paperwork, the stuff that goes behind closed doors, that busy stuff, I'm not about that, man.
Yeah.
So to go back to what you're saying, it would be very difficult to try to aspire to be a great bodybuilder and a great business owner and a great dad and a great, you get what I mean? So it's like, you need to have that hard conversation with yourself to tell yourself, okay, what is it that I want to be great at right now?
Exactly. That's honestly what it is that, do you have what it takes to be dabbling with bodybuilding? And that's what I tell my competitors, You got to be able to manage your stressors. And for one, some of these, they're young, so they don't have kids yet. I tell them, hey, don't rush into having kids, because once those little things pop out, your world gets turned upside down.
Yep.
And it's no longer just about you, they come first, and, that's, again, it's just time.
Yeah.
Trying to manage time and not letting time get away from you, because before you know it, they're bigger, and you miss some time with them.
Yep. Because there's one thing money can't buy.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's time. Yeah,
You can't get it back either.
Nope, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of now take this in a different direction, right? I want to talk about training. Kind of talked about nutrition and stuff like that, but I want to talk about training. What is your personal philosophy about training for a competitive bodybuilder?
Well, that is just, honestly, it's contraction. You gotta, the point of bodybuilding is building as many muscle fibers as you can, trying to activate as much muscle fibers as you can, and that's the name of the game, So with my guys, we practice a lot of time under tension, different types, overall having control the way, allowing yourself to fully contract the muscle.
Right.
It's not how you move it. It's up and down, point A to point B. It's the in between. How you're performing the exercise, how you execute it.
Right.
That way you can get the full, result and the full effect out of the exercise.
Right.
So that way, again, the point of bodybuilding is to build muscle tissue, build, to the best that you can. And with that also falls into your nutrition, making sure that you're, eating sufficient amount of calories, in whatever stage you're at, either you're bulking or cutting.
Right. It's the recovery part goes hand in hand, right?
Exactly, too.
Yeah. That's the thing. So intentions are everything when it comes to training, and that was, so when I was training Rudy, we had a personal relationship, and the thing with training was, I can't sit here and lie to you, man. There were times where I was like, oh man, dude, what am I going to do to this dude today? In a villain type of way, you know what I mean? Because it was never going to be a turnaround that I had with him where it's like, dude, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Dude, you're crazy. Like this, we're good. What's the next thing? What else you got on the list? That was never the case. It was like, all right, Rudy, run through that wall and then come back and I'll tell you the next one to do. That's exactly the type of mindset that he had.
Yeah.
But the thing was that to his point, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, it was the hamstrings. The hamstrings gave you the most difficult trouble of your physique, because, right, you were great tricep wise, chest wise. The back started to come, and the more attention to detail you put in, but the hamstrings, that's where it started to come. But where I'm trying to go with this was that we really didn't put too much effort in, because, you know what I mean? It wasn't one of those things, because to us, it was like, dang, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. Look at that chest. That's huge. We're going to get that chest. You know, man, look at there's Jay Cutler. I want quads like Jay. But to me personally, I can't remember one individual at that time where it's like, dang, look at that dude's hamstrings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of just gets buried under all that muscle on top of it.
Yep.
But to go back to training though, man, I remember workouts like, let's put it this way. What most gym bros do in the gym for their chest, 20, 25, 30 sets, twice, 3 times a week. Imagine now doing that for your hamstrings.
Yeah.
That's hard because you can't see your hamstrings. You know what I mean? Nor are they going to give you the satisfaction as far as the pump as your chest and arms go. But that's what this guy had to do to make sure that his physique was top class.
Yeah.
Because you didn't just go to USA's, you went to USA's in Vegas and stole the show.
Yeah.
And why? Because the moment this dude turned around, it was game over.
Yep.
Because his hamstrings just took the show, because the individuals that were standing next to him, that's what separated Rudy from the bunch, was the fact that he put the time and the details into his hamstrings.
That other people didn't.
Boom. Yeah, I mean, because what is everybody going to do?
It's a very common thing to not put a lot of work in your hamstring, and be weak in the hamstrings. I mean, in general.
It's just, and Rudy could probably agree with me, it's just who loves training muscles that they can't see or feel as much as I mean, dude, you get a chest pump, you feel like you're a god.
Bicep
you
pump.
know what I mean? Who's gonna walk around, dude? I got hamstrings. Look at these things blow up right now. Catch me in an hour. Like, nobody does that.
No, that's true.
What is the one thing though that most people don't have? Hamstrings and glutes.
Yep.
Striated glutes. And guess what Rudy brought?
From head to toe, and that's what I tell these guys, man. Hey. That's what I was told. Shows are won from the back.
Right.
And it starts from the bottom up. Calves, hamstrings, glutes, and the cherry on top's the back and the arms going into it.
Right.
But like you said, what separates you is that condition. That's where you're conditioned. That's where you can really see the condition.
Right.
How hard you condition.
Yeah.
In the hamstrings.
Right.
How well they're etched in. The glutes. Like you said, striated glutes.
It's just silly, dude. It was silly. Because Rudy, I mean, so a thing too that we need to tell people is that, right, you started in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Right? With short tiny little trunks, right? They showed everything, all cheeks. But then you transitioned to classic physique, where you now got into more of a short.
Yeah. Little bigger trunks.
You still saw the glutes at the bottom, but the hamstrings weren't covered.
Yeah.
Right. But nevertheless, though, I mean, if the dude would have stayed in bodybuilding, it was gonna be one of those things. It was only gonna be a matter of time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I have this is kind of a question for both of you. So, I mean, in today's world, like with social media, there's so much content, so much information out there, and what works for one person might not work for the next guy, right? But like, what's your training philosophy? You see some guys like, they have different splits, right? Whether it's a pull day, or push days, or just focus on one muscle, or a few different lifts a day. Or now you got guys that are hitting one muscle a day, full body every day. So what's your guys' kind of philosophy on that for bodybuilding, I guess specifically, and that type of training? Like what's the most ideal method with bodybuilding training?
Well, when me and him were attacking it, we didn't have one set. We changed it. He did Hani Rambod, like Fast 7.
Yeah.
He done Chris Cormier. You done stands. There wasn't just one, but the basics never changed.
Sure.
The basics never went as squats. They were always there. Deadlifts were always there. As far as that type of stuff, it was just different ways of manipulating the muscle as far as the tension.
So like, what did like a week look for you guys? Were you guys hitting, were you focused like a leg day, right? Were you hitting legs twice a week? Were you focused like on a more quad than hamstrings, and on a different day? Like, what did that kind of look like?
Yeah, I believe it was quad one day, mostly quad dominant. And
Okay,
then it was mostly focused.
So you're kind of separating that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It was quad, hamstring, and then we did one full leg day.
Okay.
I mean, that's pretty
So that was a
common.
week.
That's pretty common in the that's in a week.
Yeah. So you're hitting at least a part of the leg 3 different times in a week.
Out of the week, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, again, that's pretty common for a bikini competitor. But you try to tell a guy he's got to work out his legs 3 times out of the week, he might be like, all right, you know what? I'm cool with just lifting weights. I don't want to be training with the weights.
Yes.
So, I mean, you're hitting legs 3 times a week and in different sections, right? To kind of split that up. Chest, what did chest look like?
I mean, dude, chest was always, to me, when I was training
push,
him.
like a push day. What did like your pushes look like, I guess I should say?
When I was training him personally, like for me personally, when I was training him, push days were always my favorite. Not because of what I was able to do to him, but what I got to see when it was done. With the pump that because you don't run into individuals who just have it.
Right.
Vascularity, maturity, a nice, how would I put it? It's just a great physique. I mean, you just don't see it from head to toe. You might see a guy that's in shape where he's like pretty stout on top, but he's wearing long shorts. He might as well be wearing pants. Why? Yeah. Because he don't train no legs. I'll tell you that right now. So whenever it was with Rudy, whenever we would do chest, triceps, I mean, we really did very little triceps because, I mean, it was unnecessary for his physique, but the biceps and things like that, it was, I don't think I ever remember a workout where it was less than 20 sets.
No.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, that's actually pretty common.
Yeah.
Most people go in there and they're doing 20 sets, but they don't know what a hard 20 sets is. They don't know what the drop sets are, the rest pause are, the supersets, the tri-sets, the time under tension, the negatives. Like, they don't know that type of training, man.
It's different, yeah.
It's completely different, you know what I mean? And why is that? Because it takes a different individual to be able to go through those type of sets. That's the deal breaker.
Yeah.
And I never had that issue with him. Never. And guess what? Guess who's the only person in Tulare County who holds a pro card? Rudy.
Man sitting in front of us.
Exactly.
No, it is, man. You honestly got to go to a dark place.
Yeah.
And you got to make peace with that place and know and accept that pain. That's honestly what it separates people and weeds people out. Can you handle that pain? Because it hurts. It goes to a different level sometimes. But for me, it was always like, oh, damn. All right, what's next?
Yeah.
Oh shit. All right. Okay.
You got to have a short-term memory in bodybuilding, dude. Because when you're doing legs 3 times a week, Monday quads, hamstrings Wednesday, and then probably like either Friday or Saturday, depending on recovery. Like, you got to have a short-term memory of that pain.
Sure.
Because it's coming and it's gonna knock right on your right on your door, and it's gonna come quick.
Yeah.
But the thing with his particular training at the time was whenever we trained, we said very few words to each other. Yeah. It wasn't a conversation. The phones never came out until the end of the workout to capture the posing that we needed to send to his other coaches in LA and stuff. There was never a conversation. Never. It was all gas, no breaks until that session was over. And that's the thing, man. Whether if it was for 45 minutes, depending on the type of training, or an hour and a half, it was all gas.
Well, it's efficiency too, right?
It was efficiency.
It's being efficient in the gym, the time you have.
We knew exactly what we wanted to get out of every single workouts with all intentions, man.
How long were those workouts?
It was like you said, it was like anywhere between like 45 minutes to sometimes longer ones because the rest period's an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the misconception a lot of people have, that you got to spend 2, 3, 4 hours in the gym. Yeah. People look at me, oh, you must spend all day. No. Mm-mm. No. I'm like, what are you doing for 4 hours, 3 hours in the gym?
Right.
You're obviously wasting a lot of time if you're in there that long.
Yeah.
No, you got to end there and attack.
Right. If the goal's tension, how are you putting tension with a 4 hour, workout. You know, like I don't think your muscles could go for 4 hours if you're doing it right.
Like Dorian Yates would talk about that he would only spend, no more than an hour, 90 minutes in the gym.
Exactly.
And he would and I don't know how true it is, but they would talk about like, oh, was it 6-7 days a week? And no, like even at the height, sometimes we would only work out 4 or 5 days a week,
right?
And get that recovery, but it was like 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's about being efficient in the gym with the time that you have.
Right. Yep. And then there comes the recovery. You know what I mean? And that's a whole different world.
I was gonna actually ask about that. Being able to hit legs 3 times in a week, like what did the recovery look like?
That's condition, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, legs were sore every day, especially when you have to do cardio every day.
Yeah.
So at that point, again, it's how well can you tolerate pain?
Right.
It's mostly a pain tolerance type of thing, mentally, and I mean, recovery wise, sleep, there's certain supplements that you can take for, recovery, but at the same time, hydration, making sure that you're properly hydrated. A lot of people don't know how important hydration is, man. Our muscles made of mostly water. You got to make sure that you're properly hydrated. And
not just water, right? Sodium, potassium, chloride, like the whole complex. Yeah.
Minerals, you got to make sure you have enough minerals throughout your day. And, otherwise you're going to be cramping and, tearing stuff. So,
yeah, it's like, people, when you mentioned it legs 3 times out of the week, the thing was, it was still broken.
Yeah.
It was still quad dominant exercise. It was still hamstring. So really there was only one day where it was an all leg day. You know what I mean? Like it was still broken up where you weren't like attacking the leg all at once every, 3 times out of the week. So that like why am I bringing that up? Because programming is everything.
Yeah.
Programming is you just can't, like everything was managed for Rudy, from his nutrition to driving to LA's for posings, for training. Like it was well managed. It wasn't, there was no carelessness into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The guy just said he became a pro bodybuilder in how many years?
3.
3 years. You know what I mean? And guess how many mistakes were made in that? Most of them were uncontrollable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just part of the process of being a bodybuilder and learning. It wasn't just the fact that it was like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to do this today and go to Taco Bell. And no, that's not what it was. You know what I mean? It was a really well-managed program. And that's what got him from point A to point B as fast as he did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but training is the fun part, dude.
It is.
It's the fun part. As painful as it is, it's still...
It's the easiest part.
Right. I mean, we all tell our clients, right? Nobody's ever said, dang, I wish I would have never done that work after they accomplished it.
Never,
Exactly.
right? Never.
Never. It just doesn't work out like that, So, to go back to recovery though, and talking about that, after brutal trainings, I mean, most people don't understand that, recovery is almost a sport itself. You know what I mean? Because if you can't recover, you can't go back and get what you need out of your training. You know what I mean? Because it's just not going to work out. You know what I mean? So when you talk about your recovery specifically, how would I put this? What would you say outweighs the other? Okay. What would you say that outweighs the other? And kind of go back into, I guess, the myth. How important are supplements? Okay. And how important is sleep? And how, you get what I mean? Like, because we still fight that, hey, what supplement should I buy? Hey, what, this was, how
what should I take? What
exactly.
Should I take? Sure.
I want you to elaborate and tell people the misconception of supplements and sleep and which one they should prioritize more.
Sleep.
Boom.
Honestly, no. The magic happens when you sleep. You grow when you sleep. You recover when you sleep. So how well you especially nowadays with the phones and the social media and the internet and all that crap. People get distracted and stay on their phones up too late. And don't really see how important sleep really is. You burn fat. Believe it or not, you lose weight when you go to sleep. You build muscle when you go to sleep.
Your testosterone, everything. Yeah,
it matters. Sleep is king. Over supplements. You can buy all the supplements in the world, but if your sleep is crap, you're gonna spend more.
Just give me your money. Then at that point,
spend more money. That's it.
Yeah.
So let's say you have your nutrition pretty dialed in, your training's dialed in, your sleep's dialed in. What supplements? And I'm not talking about we're gonna go win, Mr. Olympia. Just a person that wants to be in the best shape they can. So they got their nutrition dialed in, they have their sleep dialed in, training dialed in. What supplements would you recommend for them to spend their money on?
I would say a quality protein. Nowadays a lot of people struggle to eat enough, protein throughout the day.
Sure.
So I would definitely say make sure get a quality protein. Especially nowadays the supplement companies have, multiplied by a bunch.
Yeah.
And now like almost every influencer has some sort of brand. Just make sure you do your homework and getting a good quality protein.
Right.
Forget the name, forget who's selling it. Look into the actual product,
right,
and get a quality product. And it's also trial and error. What might work for me might not work for you.
Absolutely.
And just really breaking it down more basic. What you really need. Making sure they have the minerals, because we need minerals.
Yeah.
Over pre-workout,
right,
per se. Some people need that jolt of energy. I don't use any pre-workout anymore.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Yeah.
Just get some rest.
Yeah.
And your body will do it all. Body is an amazing machine. If you allow it and give it, its proper recovery and rest, it'll respond.
Yep.
So I would say essential amino acids.
Yeah.
Making sure you get good quality essential amino acids, that's pretty much it, depending on the person's goal, So
multivitamin or
multivitamin.
Yeah.
Well, if you're eating properly,
you should get those.
You should be getting those from your food.
Right. Should be.
That's why. Otherwise a lot of multivitamins you get out there are just compressed into a big tab, and
right.
Yeah.
what really can you absorb from those types of things? Not much.
Right.
So a big one today is like, so obviously being hydrated, but you talked about minerals, because I know there's like different, like the big thing is because everyone was like talking about, drink a gallon of water. Well, yeah, that's great, but if you don't have minerals, like it's not really helping. So making sure you're having potassium, chloride, sodium.
Yes.
Because there was always that myth like, oh, sodium's gonna cause high blood pressure, all this stuff. It's like, no, you need sodium. You need sodium to retain water, to hold the water. So now they have like there's some pretty good ones that have like which ones am I missing? There's potassium, sodium, chloride. There's 5, I think, essential like ones that a lot of them have in it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but anyways.
I usually don't get that far with clients because we're trying to emphasize sleep, protein, and
quality of food,
and quality of food. And like, because I want to tell people supplements are important. Don't ignore them. But they're usually at the back of the conversation until this gets crossed off.
They're called supplements for a reason.
Supplementation.
Supplement. Your other things.
Right. Exactly. And so we're crossing off all these X's and O's of what, recovery, the training, the nutrition, and all this type of stuff. Tell me 3 traits that you believe every person needs to be a successful bodybuilder. 3 words. What are they?
Discipline.
Discipline.
No, I would say heart.
Heart.
Okay. And just drive, man.
Drive. Okay. So discipline is the first one that came to your mind. Why? Why discipline?
Why? Because you got to be willing to do even the shit that, can I cuss him?
Yeah, you're
good. The stuff that you don't want to do, you had to be willing to do it day in and day out. And that's honestly the hardest thing for people to do.
Yep.
Is accept what they need to do. Repetitive, eating the same thing every day, doing the cardio every day.
Right.
Making sure that you put your stuff away and get to sleep because you need it.
Right.
every day.
Yeah.
You know, that's the main thing is, and even when you feel like crap, especially the days that you feel like crap, when you don't, you know, I don't want to go train today. I don't want to go do this. I don't want to do this cardio.
Right.
Get your butt up and do it.
Right.
You know, that's what discipline is. You know, doing it even though you don't want to.
You know what the greatest form of self-love is? Discipline.
Yeah.
Because without it, how can you ever love yourself, you know? Because
Exactly.
you'll never finish anything that you decide to start. And how are you going to feel if that never happens? You know what I mean? So and I guess that's might be my
100%.
opinion, but the greatest form of self-love is discipline, you know? So the second one, though, is heart.
Yeah.
Why heart?
Why? Because you got to love it. You got to love it. The ugly part, no, the good, the bad, every aspect you got to love. You got to love what it brings. You got to love, to want to do it, you know. And again, it falls into every aspect. You got to love the training. You got to love the cardio. Even though you hate it, you got to learn to love it.
Right.
You know, that's the way I see it. You know, I'm going to freaking do it so much till I love it.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I'm going to diet hard enough till I love it.
Right.
You know, and it becomes you, you know, we're habitual creatures,
Right.
you know, and as long as you keep on it, you know, it becomes part of you.
Right.
And you learn to love it, you know, and it all comes from here,
Right.
you know.
So, did you want to
No, go
add
ahead.
something to that? So, I mean, you're a gym owner. You're kind of you're training bodybuilders, and you're also just training people to be the best version of themselves possible today.
Yes.
What are we've talked about a lot of different stuff, like Zach said, supplementation, training, nutrition, all that stuff, recovery, all that stuff. You know, what are kind of like some different advice you would just give to people that want to be the best version of themselves? Like, what three things are you going to tell them? Not just, I guess, training, but health, fitness, and just kind of that full mind and body. Like, what are a couple things you tell them to be the best version of themselves?
First, we stop making excuses. No, everybody wants a pity party. Forget the excuses, man. Get rid of them. You know, if you really want it, you're going to do it. You know, so cut the excuses already. You know, everybody was, I don't have time. No, you have time. You know, you just got to manage it better.
Yeah.
You know, again, it comes down to discipline.
Yeah.
Getting it.
Back to discipline. Yeah.
Back to discipline, man. You know, and overall it's just, sacrifice. You're going to have to be willing to sacrifice things, to get what you want.
Which goes back to time, right? And not
Exactly.
making bullshit excuses.
Exactly. Because, those days you want to go party or you want to go eat this or you want to do that. You have to sacrifice some of those things, and how well you manage those things are going to, again, help lead you to your goal.
Right.
If you really want it, you can accomplish it. The only one that's going to hold you back is you.
Right.
Yeah. 100%, because what you said, when people have excuses and they say, I don't have time. Well, look at your schedule. Start all the time that people are waste, right? Doing this and that and watching Netflix or whatever it is.
Whatever
like
it may be.
You can make time, like you said, and to be consistent and sustainable, you got to be disciplined.
Yeah.
So it all goes hand in hand, those three things. I like it. Love it.
So I want to finish off that third word, though, drive. Why does an individual need drive?
Because you're going to need to really look down and look in that mirror to see what you're made of. And you got to drive and keep going. And because, again, everybody loves it when you get praised, but at the same time, you're going to get some negativity here and there. And being able to overcome those that come negative at you and to, let that go in one ear and out the other.
Right.
And just keep pushing.
Right.
Pushing, Anybody can accomplish what they want, especially in their physical, in their health. But nowadays it's hard.
Right.
Especially with all the social media and stuff. People get tricked, misconceptions, get sold some bull crap, and it's not that hard. You just gotta have that drive to want to do it, and get it done.
Yep.
And it kind of falls back to discipline.
Right. You got to have that drive to want to do it, but you also got to understand why you're doing it.
Exactly.
And that's usually where the discipline comes in, to understand like, okay, I remember why I started this. I'm going to finish this now.
Yep.
You know, and that's the thing. I in my personal opinion, people's why is never good enough. You know what I mean? It's usually for a heart on Instagram, you know, to stay relevant, to stay fresh on the feed. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it can't be that. It can't. I mean, maybe if you're getting paid, I guess, but most often than not, you know, that's a very small select few. You know, but I like those 3 words: discipline, heart, and drive. That's what's required for, in your opinion, to be a very successful competitive bodybuilder. Discipline, heart, and drive.
Yeah. No, I kind of want to talk. We briefly talked about a couple things, like the darkness of the bodybuilding industry, right?
Yeah. With
PEDs and different things. But you know, there's so much good. Like, I do see a lot of guys, and I think like you look at C-Bum and some of these guys that are, they seem to be pretty good role models for younger kids, and they at least try to be super humble and whatnot. But then you also have a lot of bullshit in the bodybuilding industry.
Yeah.
People trying to, make their money, and I get it, supplements and stuff like that. But there's so much, people tearing other bodybuilders down.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of that in the industry today on social media. So with the social media, so many different, everyone trying to promote their brands to especially younger audiences and stuff like that. What would you kind of tell people to try to avoid all that darkness and try to kind of have a streamlined process and stay committed, stay disciplined and focused, and avoiding all that stuff, and I guess trying to eliminate those mistakes? 'Cause I feel like we all make those mistakes of, getting caught up into the supplementation of stuff or the tearing down of our own bodies, but also judging ourselves against other people on social media. So what kind of advice would you give to some of these younger people to try to avoid that? Because social media could be so toxic today.
Yeah.
With just, you're always judging yourself based on what someone else that's maybe not even exactly 100% real and natural on social media.
Well, the first thing is you got to learn to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, how are you going to admit any sort of love to anybody else?
Yeah.
That's one thing. You definitely got to, one, see yourself for what you are, accept it, accept what what God gave you in a sense of your physical, and try to make the most out of it. I know I'm never going to be a SIBA,
Sure.
different makeups, man.
Yeah.
But what I can control is how I build myself, and the best thing, is to pull away from social media sometimes and don't let it fester. You let the negativity fester, it's going to overtake you, and, it's going to become, and you're going to become the same thing. You're going to become faithful, and that's never good, man.
No. Yeah. I mean, like social media could be such a positive to get views into your life or get, put yourself out there. But the dark side of it's so dark too.
It's a double-edged sword for sure.
It is.
But it goes back to what Rudy said in the beginning. You got to know who you are and your identity, and that's the thing is, like, if you don't know who you are, you're going to get lost in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes when people get lost in that type of stuff, they can't get out and they can't find their way out. And so it's like, it's one of those situations to where it's like, when you open up your Instagram, it's always everybody's best. It's never their worst.
Yeah,
they aren't showing both sides. And that's the thing too. And you got to open up that phone with a sense of, how would you put it? You got to open it up with a sense of reality. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's usually not what the reality is for that person. You know what I mean? So it's like when me and Rudy were attacking the bodybuilding scene, he would show his physique, and he would put a quote on his photos and stuff like that. People loved it.
Yeah.
Because it was encouraging. It wasn't look at my biceps. This is me. Accept me. Love me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, it had a meaning and a purpose behind it, and it, and a sense of positivity too. You know, and that's the thing is like, you also got to be aware of who you are looking at as well. You know what I mean? Especially kids. Kids nowadays, you know what I mean? They go and they see a six pack, and that person's their all in everything. And that person could be a very bad individual for them to be following.
Absolutely.
You know, so you got to be extremely careful of who you are putting on your feed. You know what I mean? And that was the thing that when social media was important to him, you know, finding possibly a sponsor and things like that, it was quality posts with messages and obviously a great physique, you know, with it.
Sure.
But you just got to understand, like, you are the only person that allows what goes in you.
Yeah.
Nobody else, nobody's forcing you to do anything. You know what I mean? So that's my take on it. You know what I mean? And it's like, just stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. You know what I mean? Stay in your lane. And I guarantee you're going to get to the destination that you want to go to. You know what I mean? It's like, people, me and Rudy used to be business partners. You know what I mean? He's killing it. I'm doing okay. You know what I mean? Because why? We didn't care about what we were doing whenever we separated. Rudy had an agenda that he wanted to follow, and he took that agenda and he made it the best he could make it. And now he's killing it. And vice versa. It's just stay in your lane, you know, because you waste time if you don't. And guess what? Like, just like I said before, what's the one thing you don't get back?
Time.
With money. You can't buy time back. You know what I mean? But you could get to a point where you understand in your mind, okay, that was an experience. I enjoyed it. I learned from it. Let's move on from it.
Exactly.
Off to the next thing. Off to the next adventure, because you're no longer a bodybuilder. You know what I mean? It was an experience.
It was.
You know what I mean? You had fun with it. You killed it. You're at the top. You reached the pinnacle of it. You know what I mean? But it came to an end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing with social media. Once you turn that phone off, what are you going to do now?
Yeah.
It came to an end. What's the next step for you? You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I think that to me, that's sound advice for you that you just brought up. You know what I mean? And it's like bodybuilding and life, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They go like hand in hand.
Yeah, such an analogy, right?
Yeah.
So, Rudy, I mean, kind of what, just going off what Zach said, I mean, so you guys obviously were business partners. Now Zach has a Main Athletics, and you have your gym as well. So all those things you learned during your bodybuilding career, you know, 10 plus years of bodybuilding and lifting weights and all this stuff that you learn, and now you're able to instill it back into other people to help them be their best selves and be their most healthy selves mentally, physically, and also people that you're coaching in bodybuilding and posing and all that great stuff. So what's kind of that transition like? What's that journey been like of, you know, having a successful gym, successful business, successful clients, and now instilling all that, all the things you learned, all that advice?
Well, I can say I'm just living a dream. You know, as a kid, I always wanted to have my own place, have my own gym, you know, accomplish that, you know, to be able to, you know, work the way I wanted, do what I wanted, you know. You know, the great thing about it is I get to wake up every day and, you know, have the opportunity to work with people that want to come work with me. You know, that's what makes my, you know, my day.
Your dream of reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not working. I'm retired. It's the way I see it, because I get to do what I love to do every day, you know. And what makes it better is the fact that I get a lot of, you know, great people that want to come to me to help them with their journey. You know, with training, it's not just training, man. It's managing people mentally.
Yeah.
You know, because like you said, this is therapy. You know, exercise is the best, you know, medicine for depression, anxiety,
100%.
You know, for all those mental ailments that people suffer from nowadays, stemming from social media, stemming from all these traumas that people go through life, you know, from kids to, you know, whether it be broken relationships, No.
Past trauma.
Everything, man. No. You know, there's a saying, 200 pounds is always 200 pounds.
Right.
You know, iron therapy is probably the best thing you can do, you know, to help yourself, you know, to build self-confidence, okay, and to have an opportunity to build a better version of yourself. You know, it's not just lifting weights, man. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what honestly makes me tick.
Yeah.
That's what I live for.
Love it.
I always tell people it's more than reps and sets. This stuff it goes way beyond more than just reps and sets.
Yeah.
You know, it's that's one of our favorite quotes. You know, the 200 pounds will always be 200 pounds. You know, and the thing is 200 pounds. It's going to be there tomorrow and the day after. It is
It'll
absolute.
always be there for you.
It is absolute. Exactly. It's one of those. It's a lifestyle, man.
It is.
If you allow it to be one.
Exactly. Like for me, you know, training, you know, weights was my first love, you know, and I know it'll always be there. In the good days, the bad days. Whenever I'm having a great day, it makes it better. When I'm having a bad day, it makes my day better, you know, but you have to be able to want to go do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you never regret a good workout, right? Never. I mean, you might go in there, you might stumble in there after a rough day and barely make it, but at the end of it, like your mindset's better, your attitude's better, your mentality, everything is just a little bit better. And you never regret it.
Yeah, you're satisfied, man. There's very few things that satisfy you the way that this does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because what Rudy said in the beginning, you get what you put in, period.
Yeah.
The more effort you pour in, the more you get back in return.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's just the simple truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you know, like the most amazing thing about lifting weights, I kind of mentioned it earlier, is like once you pick up a weight, not for everybody, but for the most of us that kind of picked up weights for whatever reason it was, right? Or a coach introduced us to it. We were playing football, whatever. Most of us, yeah, we've had instances where we don't lift for a few weeks, or a couple of months or whatever, but I feel like we always go back to it. We always come back to it. Or it's something we always do throughout our life. So it's like, if you could just get in there and, you know, find some way to get in the gym, or someone to introduce it to you, or your kids or whatever, it's like, it's something that's going to be there for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Yeah, we always have life things that come up here and there, or injuries or whatever, but it's always going to be there for you.
Yeah. It's a natural high, man. You don't got to shoot up for it. You don't got to snort it. You don't got to do any of that. You just got to come in here, put a genuine effort, a good work ethic behind that, and you're good.
Yeah.
You are good. So to talk about your business and to talk about where you're taking that, you have a team. You have individuals that are coming to you to seek the guidance and to seek the knowledge that you have gained throughout the years to help them get to that level where you once were.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, man. Tell us about coaching now the athlete. What does that bring for you, and what does that do for you?
Well, that nowadays, because of the fact that I'm not competing anymore right now, it brings me the most joy, because now I get to live vicariously through them. You know, I started later on, you know, competing later on in my 20s, you know, and you can say it's a young man's sport, because I mean, if you're tuned into the bodybuilding scene, every year, there's a new cat coming out that's got freaky genetics, but they're young, you know, and so I'm privileged to be able to coach these, young men and women, and that want to, get their feet wet with this type of stuff, and fortunately for them, I've walked the road they're trying to walk, and that's what I tell them. When I was doing it, honestly, it was mostly just me, and trying to figure it out. Then I got some help, and then navigating through it. It was kind of rough, but at the same time, I wasn't aware of the mental aspect that was going into it. The things that go through your head, because again, you're going to get all the praises and stuff like that. But people don't realize the things that sometimes go in your head. It's kind of some dark stuff, and it gets rough, the doubt, mental anguish is really ugly sometimes. And with my guys now, I tell them, there's nothing that that you have felt that I didn't feel, anything, would it be negative, talk to me. I'll help you get through those, those humps.
You're not alone, basically.
You're not alone.
Right.
You're not alone. I've done it. And if I was able to do it coming from a small town, and achieving what I did, you can do it too. It's just, again, how disciplined you are, how driven you are to get to where you want to go. If you really want to do it, we're going to find out. We're going to find out.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
100%. Because, again,
Right.
I got a lot of people that come to me and want to be like, I want to do a show. Like, do you really? Shit hurts,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Rudy, I want to look like you. I tell them, no, you don't.
Right.
No, you don't want to look like me. And they're like, why?
Exactly.
Because it hurts too damn much. You don't understand the suffering I've gone through, to get to where I'm at. But if you want to do it, I'll help guide you through it. And, I'll damn near hold your hand all the way through it. But at the same time, you got to be the one putting in the work.
Right.
You got to be able to do it, follow the plan to get you there. And with me, I love this. I've grown to love competing. It just sucks that, again, I just don't have time to be able to, do it, to devote to it with what I got going on, business, family, But with these young men and women, I live vicariously through them. And I just want to see them, be successful, doing their first show, getting their feet wet, getting their experience. And then from there, let's see what else you can do. Do you want to keep going?
Right.
We'll figure it out, and we're gonna get there. So I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of just talk about your business real quick. What's it called? Just for those that are listening. What do you kind of what's kind of the focus there, and like what are your kind of goals going forward here in the next couple of years with your athletes, but also your gym, yourself? What's kind of this process and this future look like for Rudy?
Well, my gym is called the Bodybuilder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a lot of people get a misconception thinking it's just a gym for bodybuilders. No. The play on words. I build bodies. And that's why I called it the Bodybuilder. I don't just work with competitive people. I honestly, most of my clientele is just regular, ordinary people that want to just build their bodies to a better version of themselves. And they all come from different walks of life. Different ages. And it's just, people that just want to find a nice environment, getting away from commercial gyms.
Sure.
Because a lot of times, it can be very intimidating going into a big gym, especially not knowing what to do, how to go about it, and with me, I don't preach weight loss. Okay. I try to get that out of people's head and focus on body recomposition because that's what it's about. Weight loss sometimes gets overplayed. What you weigh, what you weigh, doesn't tell the whole story about you, and we got to see past that. So we try to touch and help people, have a better relationship with food, learn more about what things to eat, how to eat better, and still be able to have balance in their lives with being able to enjoy certain things, but at the same time, getting themselves to a point where they can be disciplined with the routines, how they, go about their day, and managing overall stress, because it all falls into place with it. It all comes together, your sleep, your training, your recovery, your diet,
The lifestyle.
the lifestyle,
Yeah.
and that's what I try to, teach and, coach my clients and, my competitors to, do and just manage themselves better, and improve their lives, because again, this can help you get out of the biggest holes mentally, depression, all that stuff. You feel like, crap, go work out.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to feel better, but at the same time, you got to have the drive to want to do it, because I don't like working with individuals that come and complain.
Yeah.
And, nah, don't bring that. You got to come in with the attitude like, hey, I'm here to work. Let's get something done. I love that. I love that, when I get a client that, is motivated, but overall discipline, because discipline trumps motivation, So, and, hopefully I'm looking to possibly grow sometime, You know, right now I'm got a little spot, which I love because it's controlled. Again, for myself, I focus more on private setting, you know, having, you know, being able to have a control of a number of people I train at a certain time, you know, which takes away from the freelance and a lot of the stuff you see at commercial gyms and stuff like that, you know, so it gives me a lot more freedom to be able to have control in how we manage the clients and how we train them and be able to separate, and, you know, it flows like a symphony, man.
Yeah, love it. So where can people find you, like your business, Instagram?
My Instagram, I'm terrible with social media, man.
Because you have an Instagram for your gym, and then you have your personal one as well.
I'm terrible. I've really fallen off of the Instagram ever since, you know, business and family took over. Like, I tried to make a post, but then I got my kids talking to me.
Yeah, dude, it's a freaking full-time job trying to run it, you know, social media
stuff. Yeah. But my social media handle for Instagram is, I believe, is the Bodybuilder _559. Okay. My gym's located at 360 North Porter Road, off the cross street of Morton. And again, it's just focused more on privacy, you know, and allowing my clients to be comfortable.
Yeah. Right.
You know.
Yeah. Sweet. You're building better human beings, man.
Well, that's the goal. That's, you know, building better people.
Yeah,
life coach.
That's the thing. There's plenty to go around too. You know what I mean? That's the thing, you know. So anybody who's listening wondering why is Zach bringing Rudy into the gym, is because there's plenty enough for everybody to eat, guys.
Yes.
There's plenty enough.
100%.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I'm not Rudy and Rudy's not Zach.
Yep.
Each person that you run into is an own individual person that brings their own individual traits. And that's what makes life great. 100%. There's not another Zach, there's not another Blaine, there's not another Rudy.
Yeah.
So for people that are out there that are looking for a trainer, consider all options. Consider all options, because Rudy could talk to you better than I can, maybe, or I might be able to talk better than he can. So for anybody listening, like I said,
yeah, it's all about vibes, man. You gotta be able to, you know, with personal training, you gotta be, you know, get personal with the person, and you gotta be able to be, you know, have a good relationship with you. Because for me, I build a lot of relationships with my clientele, you know, and sometimes it gets, you know, deep, personal, you know, with some of the stuff we have to deal with mentally,
right?
You know, and it's just, you know, getting a good vibe off people, you know, and loving the way they work, you know, and how they work with you, you know, it's your service is pretty much. No, I don't really advertise much because a lot of my clientele comes from referrals.
Word of mouth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Like Zach said, explore your options. I mean, do what works best for you, because what works best for you might not work. Might not be what's best for the next person, right? Everyone's different. Everyone's got different needs and wants, and so
styles, man.
Yeah, styles too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's the best part about life, man. It's all one big experience, man. You know what I mean? You could either make it a bad experience and learn from it, or you can make it a good one by doing your homework and studying and making sure that your next step is the next step best for you.
Hey, there's only one you. There's only one you.
Exactly. So
cool. Well,
yeah, man.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for
it's been
coming
fun,
in,
man. Yeah,
no
thanks for taking the time to come over here, man, and talking to us and talking to all the listeners and stuff like that. Hopefully everybody gets some good, solid advice from this. And yeah, man. Can't wait to put this one out. It's been fun.
This is just, I think, therapy for all of us too, man. So we get to learn a lot too.
Me and Rudy, we're a lot cheaper than a therapist. I'll tell you that right now. For sure. So see you guys, come find us.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll help you out.
Cool. So. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. Thanks, Rudy, for taking the time to
no problem, guys.
come join us today. Yeah, cool. Thank you guys.
All right, guys.
Cool.
Catch you later.
See ya.